Well, spring break really is in full swing here at Disney World, and if you are planning a visit here during this time, there are some things that I highly recommend you do before actually getting to Disney World to help better prepare for your time here during spring break. The first thing you're going to want to do before getting to Disney World is to prepare for lines. Now, Disney World has been super busy recently, but during this spring break season, as I've been looking at wait times, I have seen attractions reach wait times that I had never even seen before. Not only can you expect to see lines for attractions and rides while at Disney World, but you can also expect to see some lines for Disney transportation, for checking out at the stores, quick service stops when getting food, you name it. Unfortunately, there will most likely be lines. But the thing I want to recommend to you here is to be prepared for those lines. Mentally prepared, do whatever you need to do in order to get in the mindset of being at Disney during spring break. But when it comes to waiting in lines at Disney World, I highly recommend bringing some entertainment to entertain you and your kids while you're waiting in these lines. I have a video here where I share some entertainment ideas, but essentially what I recommend is downloading some games on your phone to play. Look for hidden Mickeys and hidden details while you're waiting in these lines. But whatever it is that you can do in order to stay entertained during these lines, I highly recommend bringing some entertainment ahead of time. One neat game that you might want to consider downloading before getting to Disney World is the Play Disney app. Now, this app is unique because it has different Disney-related games. There are trivia games and some fun games that you can play while you're in the parks. There are multiplayer games, but the thing that is really cool about this app is that in some attractions at Disney World, there are actually some interactive things that you can do while you're actually in line that you can play on the app. There is so much that goes into this app, and I highly recommend before you actually get to Disney World, kind of familiarize yourself with it so that way you can take the most advantage of it whenever you are actually in lines or visiting Disney World. Since we're on the topic of apps, let's talk about the next thing that you need to do in order to prepare for Disney World during spring break, and I recommend downloading the My Disney Experience app. I talk about this so much on my channel, but it truly is one thing that really impacts my Disney visits, and I find that is a very useful tool to use while you're at Disney World. There are ways that you can look up wait times, you can make reservations, dining reservations, you can do mobile checkout, mobile ordering for food. One thing that I also do recommend to do before you actually get to Disney World is put a payment option already into the My Disney Experience app. This is going to be so helpful because you don't have to waste time when you're actually at Disney World worrying about getting some payment info in there. That way you can easily go and do some mobile ordering to get some food, but also make a dining reservation if you need one. Now, springtime weather here in Florida can get pretty hectic, and the next thing that I recommend preparing before you actually get to Disney World is to prepare for the weather. Unfortunately, at times, Florida weather can be pretty unpredictable. One day you may have a beautiful sunny day, and the next day it is torrentially downpouring. What I recommend before you actually get to Disney World is look up and see what the weather is actually looking like during your visit when you are expected to be at Disney World. Then on the specific days that you are actually going to the parks, I recommend seeing what the forecast is looking like for the day, so that way you know what to expect as far as weather. Now, of course, we all know the weather changes. Even if we look at the app and it says it's going to be perfectly sunny, there may be a pop-up rain shower during the day. So in that case, what I recommend during the springtime, bringing some type of raincoat or umbrella or rain poncho with you, so that way you can prepare for rain if it happens at Disney World. There are rain supplies that you can buy whenever you are at Disney World, but expect to pay a bit of a Disney tax on those items. I always like to just have a mini umbrella with me on hand in my park bag, just because I never know when a shower may pop up. During the springtime here in Florida, it can get super hot as well. The temperatures can get up into the 80s, and so I recommend staying hydrated, but also remember your sunscreen, people. Wear sunscreen, and if you're able to bring a little tube or a bottle that you can put in your checked bag, I highly recommend doing that as well, because sunscreen is a little bit expensive at Disney World. Looking and seeing what the weather is like can also impact what clothing you decide to wear at Disney World, and that is another thing that you're going to want to prepare before actually getting to the parks. Packing for Disney World is super important, and so I definitely recommend choosing outfits that you know are comfortable, breathable. If they get wet, dry very easily. I don't really recommend wearing jeans or long clothes because it can get pretty hot and you want to be able to be comfortable throughout your day. And another very important thing are the shoes that you decide to wear to Disney World. You do so much walking at Disney World, and I highly recommend wearing shoes that you know are comfortable, that you have already broken in, and also bringing multiple pairs of shoes. This is not the time to pull out your new cute shoes. I highly recommend wearing shoes that you already know are comfortable because you don't want to get blisters. You want to be able to walk around the parks and do everything that you want whenever you're at Disney World. So wear those comfy shoes and bring multiple of them in case they get wet. So we already talked about preparing for lines. Another thing you'll want to prepare for are the parks that you are deciding to go to. Now, whether it's your first time going to Disney World or your 100th time going to Disney World, I recommend having a plan for your day at the park that you are deciding to go to. With this, I recommend picking the top attractions that you are hoping to visit whenever you are actually at Disney World. Wait times are going to be pretty hectic, and so having an idea of the rides that you absolutely want to ride will make sure that you are able to get on them and experience them. Another thing that you'll want to check out is the new Disney Genie system that Disney has implemented. If you're getting sick of waiting in long lines at Disney World, you may want to take advantage of the new Genie Plus system so that way you can make the most of your park day and do as many rides as you are looking to do. Visiting the parks at Rope Drop is another way that you can really make the most of your day, because you can get to some of the more popular attractions at the beginning of the day when not a lot of people are necessarily there. Then you don't have to wait in the crazy long wait times that will come at the end of the day. Now, this last tip is probably one of the most important tips too whenever it comes to preparing for Disney World during spring break, and that is to make reservations. Now, the most important reservation that you're going to want to make are park reservations. Disney World now is requiring that each guest not only has a park ticket, but that they have a reservation for the park that they are planning on going to. And these reservations can book up, especially during peak seasons like spring break now. The reservations for parks can get booked up if it is a very busy day, like on the weekends. So the absolute last thing that you would want to have happen is to get to Disney World and not have a reservation to actually go to the park that you are planning on going to. So if you know what you were planning on doing when at Disney World and you have your tickets purchased, I highly recommend getting those reservations made as soon as possible. Another type of reservation you're going to want to make are dining reservations. There are a lot of fun restaurants to eat at while at Disney World, and there may be some that you are really looking forward to visiting, but don't think that you're going to be able to just walk right up to the hostess stand and ask for a table of 5 to go and eat. It's going to be very busy during spring break, and to guarantee yourself a seat or a table at the restaurant you are wanting to visit at, definitely get a reservation ahead of time so that way you can absolutely eat there. I also have been hearing that resorts at Disney World have been absolutely booked up, and it's been very hard to actually get a stay at Disney World. So if for whatever reason you don't have your lodging planned out for this spring break trip, I highly recommend making that as soon as possible as well. So if you need to look off Disney property, look at that as soon as possible. Now, if you're wanting a break from the spring break craziness that's happening in the parks and you have an off day while at Disney World, here are some things that you can do while on Disney property that do not require a park ticket, as well as some other Disney tips and tricks for you to help plan out your visit. Enjoy your trip to Disney World during spring break this year. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and we'll see you in the next video. See you guys!